On a quiet, narrow road winding through a dense green forest, Dylan and his friends were driving through the peaceful countryside, enjoying the beauty of nature. They often spotted animals crossing the road, so they were used to seeing deer or rabbits. However, they had no idea that today would be different and would change their lives forever. As they drove, laughter filled the truck. On both sides, tall trees created a natural roof above them, and the cool air felt fresh. Suddenly, without any warning, Dylan slammed on the brakes, stopping the truck in its tracks. His friends jumped in their seats, confused about what had happened. They looked ahead and saw something unusual blocking their way. Their fun trip turned tense as they tried to figure out what it was. This unexpected moment made their hearts race, and they knew they were about to face an adventure unlike any they had ever experienced before. There, in the middle of the road, lay a small brown shape, almost hidden against the dark asphalt. At first, the group thought it was just some trash, or maybe an animal that had been hit by a car. But as they squinted and moved in closer, their hearts dropped. It was a baby deer, a tiny fawn, lying still in the center of the road. Dylan felt a wave of sadness wash over him. The little creature looked so delicate, its big eyes wide open, staring blankly into space. The friends initially feared the worst, thinking the fawn might have been hurt in a crash. But something didn't seem right. The fawn's legs were awkwardly tucked beneath it, and its body looked too small, as if it were trying to sink into the ground. As they huddled around, one of Dylan's friends suggested that the fawn might be trying to hide, using its instinct to blend in and avoid danger. Given its size, they wondered if it had been born just moments before. Just as worry filled the air, they noticed something amazing: the faint rise and fall of the fawn's chest. It was alive. A wave of relief washed over them, and they knew they had to help. Although the fawn seemed unharmed, Dylan and his friends knew they couldn't just leave it in the middle of the road. Its mother was nowhere in sight, and the thought of another car racing down the road, unable to spot the small, motionless creature, filled Dylan with fear. They faced a tough choice. Should they help the fawn or leave it alone, hoping it would eventually find its way back to safety? The road was empty, and it seemed unlikely that anyone else would come to help. The group started to discuss their options. Some friends thought it was best to leave the fawn where it was, but Dylan felt uneasy about that. He couldn't shake the feeling that leaving the fawn could put it in danger. The chance of another driver not seeing it in time was too high. They had to act. One of Dylan's friends suggested a plan. They could gently move the fawn to the side of the road where it would be safer. It seemed like the best idea, even though it carried some risk. Fawns are often left alone by their mothers, who return later to collect them. But with the fawn lying in such a dangerous spot, they knew they couldn't wait any longer. Benjamin, one of the friends, stepped forward to help the fawn. He approached slowly and carefully, knowing how fragile the little creature was. The others watched in silence, their hearts racing, as he bent down next to the fawn. Surprisingly, the baby deer stayed calm, looking up at him with wide eyes as Benjamin gently slid his hands under its body. With great care, Benjamin lifted the fawn and stood up, cradling it against him. As he walked toward the grassy edge of the road, the fawn started to wiggle, its tiny legs kicking weakly. Benjamin held on tightly, determined not to let it slip from his arms. When he reached the safety of the grass, he carefully lowered the fawn to the ground. As soon as its hooves touched the earth, the fawn sprang to life. It jumped out of Benjamin's hands and dashed into the woods, moving quickly into the safety of the trees. The group watched in amazement as the baby deer disappeared into the thick bushes. It was a moment they would always remember, filled with excitement and relief, knowing they had helped save a little life. Just then, from deeper in the woods, the group noticed movement. The adult deer, the fawn's mother, emerged from behind the trees, watching her baby closely. Relief washed over them as they realized the fawn hadn't been abandoned after all. The mother had been waiting quietly in the shadows, unsure about approaching with so many humans around. Now, with a gentle nudge, The mother and fawn reunited and disappeared together into the forest, their delicate forms blending perfectly into the greenery. Back at the truck, the friends felt a wave of joy and pride. They had successfully moved the fawn to safety, and it was back with its mother. Dylan, who had recorded the entire event on his phone, couldn't wait to share the video online. He posted it later that day, and it quickly went viral, racking up millions of views in no time. However, not all reactions were kind. Some viewers criticized the group for interfering, saying they should have left the fawn alone. Others pointed out that touching wild animals, especially young ones, could make their mothers reject them because of the human scent. Experts chimed in, with some agreeing that the fawn might have been fine on its own, while others praised the group for acting responsibly in keeping the fawn safe from danger. Despite the criticism, the group felt reassured by the advice from wildlife organizations. The Virginia Beach Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals stated that while it's usually best to leave fawns alone, there are times when action is needed. For example, if a fawn is found in a dangerous spot, like the middle of a road, it is okay to move it to safety. Similarly, the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife suggests that if you must handle a fawn, it's wise to wipe it down with grass to remove any human scent before letting it go. In this situation, Benjamin acted quickly. Although they hadn't had time to clean the fawn before it ran back into the woods, experts believed the deer would be all right. The mother deer had not shown any signs of distress, and the quick reunion with her baby indicated that everything was fine. In the end, no matter the differing opinions, Dylan and his friends felt they had made the right choice. Their quick thinking likely saved the fawn from a dangerous situation. As they drove away from the woods that day, they felt a strong connection to nature and knew that, for one small creature, they had made a real difference. Their hearts swelled with pride as they reflected on their adventure. So, what are your thoughts about this heart-touching story? Share your opinions in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on our new animal stories. Your support means the world to us.